very good morning, students. Today we are going to dissect the posterior compartment of the lower limb. Okay, previously we have shown you the dissection of the anterior compartment, and this time we will show you the posterior compartment. This is a female body with lot of fat, so I have removed the skin, superficial fascia, and along with the superficial fascia I have removed some of the cutaneous sural and that of the saphenous nerve, along with the short saphenous vein also was removed. And partly I have also removed the deep fascia. Now just for orientation, you see that this is the medial side. Okay, this is the gastrocnemius muscle which are seen here. You can see here, this is the popliteal fossa. Semitendinosus was cut here. This is semimembranosus on the medial side, and this side, if you can see, this is the biceps femoris. Okay, and this is the gastrocnemius origin. This is the medial head of gastrocnemius. Here will be the lateral head of gastrocnemius, and in the popliteal fossa, this is the sciatic nerve which is dividing into the tibial and the common peroneal nerve here. Deep inside is the vein and the popliteal artery. This was just for your orientation. While I was removing the deep fascia from here, you can see here I have just saved the flexor retinaculum, deep to which the tendons and blood vessels of the posterior compartment will go. Now this is the flexor retinaculum. Okay, and if I pass the forceps just beneath it, you will see that there is, see this is that band about 1 and 1.5 inch broad. It is attached to the anteriorly to the medial malleolus. This part is the medial malleolus bone. It is attached to the posterior border and right up to the apex. This was the flexor retinaculum attachment. Posteriorly it is attached to the calcaneus. Medial tuberosity of the calcaneus or its process, medial process. You can see some of the tendons going here. I have not dissected much. See this one tendon, this is another tendon with the muscle. Deep is the tibial artery, posterior tibial artery, and the tibial nerve will be there, and deep down is the tendon of the flexor hallucis longus. Probably this is the tendon of the tibialis posterior, and this is the flexor digitorum longus. Okay. So now what I am going to do is that I will cut this flexor retinaculum and will show you the relation of this structure. While I was dissecting the sole, I have cut these tendons very close to this posterior this ligament, the retinaculum ligament. Welcome back, students. I have removed the flexor retinaculum, and deep to this many structures are seen. This is the medial malleolus. I hope you are able to see this. And just deep to the medial malleolus, this tendon of the tibialis posterior. Okay, and it is going to get attachment onto the navicular bone, and then other slips will go to the different tarsal bones except talus. The other tendon which I have removed here is the tendon of the flexor digitorum longus, the part of which I have cut it during the dissection of the sole. Then there will be an artery here called as the tibialis anterior artery. You can see this artery, tibialis, and during the dissection of sole I had cut this artery also here. But this we will trace it upward. Just posterior to this there will be this nerve, that is the posterior tibial nerve, which is dividing into two branches, that is the medial and the lateral plantar nerve. You can see the lateral plantar, and deep to this all structure we are getting this tendon, and this is the tendon of the flexor hallucis longus. Okay, this tendon was also cut during the dissection of the sole. So we have seen all the structures which lie deep to the flexor retinaculum. Now what I am going to do is going to reflect the gastrocnemius and the plantaris so as to go to the soleus muscle. That I will show you in the next video. Thank you. Okay, welcome back, student. Okay, just I have given the cut to the origin of the medial gastrocnemius, and here lateral gastrocnemius from the condyles of the femur. And I'm trying to reflect these structures, that is both the head of the gastrocnemius downward, and here from the tibial nerve you can see that multiple branches they are going to this gastrocnemius muscle. The main trunk of the tibial nerve is here, okay, so it is going down, which I will clean later. And here what we are seeing on the lateral side, taking origin from the femur epicondyles, near the epicondyle, this is the plantaris nerve, okay. So these are the two hands of the gastrocnemius, and this is the on the lateral side, this is the plantaris. Okay, I needed to cut this nerve which are going into the gastrocnemius, that's why I have just told you. Now I will be cutting this nerve which are going to the gastrocnemius and reflect it downward, and will expose the plantaris muscle here. Yes, I have just detached both the origin of the gastrocnemius, medial and lateral, and reflected it back after cutting the nerves of tibial nerve which were going in to supply this. And what I got is that here is a nerve coming from the tibial itself and going to that of the towards the soleus muscle, okay. And then we are getting the long tendon of this plantaris, and unless and until I will not cut this nerve which is going probably in the soleus deep down, I will not be able to dissect the plantaris properly. So I am cutting this nerve here which was going into the soleus so as to expose the plantaris muscle from lateral part of the condyle of the femur. This is the plantaris nerve, which is small belly but very long tendon going towards the medial side, deep to that of the medial head of the gastrocnemius, and then later we will see that it will fuse with the tendon of the gastrocnemius and the common tendon of the soleus here. I think I should dissect first the soleus. This muscle which is seen is now the soleus, and this is that plantaris muscle. Now I am going to dissect the soleus and will reflect, then we'll go to the deep muscles of the limb. Thank you. Well, I have cut the tendon of the plantaris which was taking origin from the posterior aspect of the lateral condyles. This was the site from where the plantaris takes origin, okay, from that of the femur. Now what I want to show you is that after reflecting the gastrocnemius, the whole big mass of the muscle is the soleus, okay. See here, the tendon of the gastrocnemius will fuse with the tendon of the soleus, okay. So we got the soleus muscle deep to the gastrocnemius, and it has a very wide origin. If we see the origin of this soleus, then in this bone we can see like that there is the origin from the medial border of the tibia. This is okay. Then it takes origin from the oblique line, soleal line of the tibia. See this here, it is going towards the taking origin from the border of the tibia. Then this is the origin on the soleal line here, okay, above which this muscle is the popliteus muscle. And then between the tibia and fibula there is a gap, okay. There will be a gap between the tibia and fibula here, tendinous gap, and through this tendinous gap, this structures the nerve, tibial nerve, the posterior tibial artery, and the vein, they are going into the posterior compartment. Then it will take origin from the posterior aspect of the fibula also, okay, posterior surface from head and to the neck of the posterior. So it has a wide origin, soleus muscle. What I will do is that I will cut this soleus muscle from its origin and will reflect it downward, okay. And then just to expose this muscle that is called as the popliteus muscle, okay. I am getting a nerve here which from the tibia which is going on to probably onto the under surface, okay, I mean to say anterior surface of popliteus deep to its lower margin, this muscle, okay. So I will come after a minute or two after reflecting the soleus. Thank you. Let us see here. I have reflected the gastrocnemius, then I have detached the origin of the soleus, vast origin, and when I have reflected, you can see that this is the nerve supply from its under surface of the soleus. Okay, I will cut this nerve supply so as to reflect it downward. Okay, so I'm cutting this nerve supply from the tibial nerve. Okay, this is the tibial nerve, tibial artery, posterior tibial artery it will become, and then this is the vein going on. So I have reflected the now I will dissect the deeper muscle. Thank you. Now the tendon is here, that is a common tendon for two head of gastrocnemius and soleus and that of the plantaris. All these they make a single very strong tendon called as the tendocalcaneus, and this is attached onto the intermediate part on the posterior surface of the calcaneus bone. So I am now reflecting this muscle so as to go deeper. Thank you. Let's come to the deep muscle. I will show you after the deep to the soleus. On medial side it is the flexor flexor digitorum longus. So see this muscle taking origin here and forming a tendon of the flexor digitorum longus. See this tendon which was going deep to the this flexor retinaculum. So this is the flexor digitorum longus, and deep to it this was the tendon of the tibialis posterior. On the lateral side in the intermediate compartment, this strong muscle is the flexor hallucis longus. We can trace this flexor hallucis longus deep to this, and then it will come out here. So this is on lateral side is flexor hallucis longus, and this is the flexor digitorum. Both will cross in the sole each other. Hallucis will go to the medial side for the great toe, and the flexor digitorum longus will go to the lateral four toes. So they will cross each other. Now in between these two muscles we get, this was our tibial nerve, and you can see that in the tibial nerve in the popliteal fossa it is continuous as such between these two muscles in the second compartment and going deep to the flexor retinaculum. This gives so many branches and supplying the muscle to the all these deep group muscles. Then we have seen that this was the popliteal artery here, if you can see, and in the depth I have shown you. Here is the branch coming out from the popliteal artery, that is the anterior tibial artery, which is going to the anterior compartment. I am just lifting it, okay. Then this branch here is that of the posterior tibial artery. See this, I could not clean it because of this is a very fatty body. So the vein and artery both are going together here, the posterior tibial artery along with this tibial nerve, it was going between these two muscles. Then at this level you can see another artery is coming out from this posterior tibial artery. You can see this very strong artery, and this is the peroneal artery, and this will go on to the on the border, posterior border of the fibula it will run and will mainly supply to the peroneal compartment. So there is a posterior tibial nerve, and tibial nerve and posterior tibial artery, and this strong is the peroneal artery. Now when we reflect or we detach these muscles, okay, towards the lateral and medial side, then we will get another muscle, deepest muscle here, and this is that tibialis posterior muscle, okay, just taking origin or present in front of the interosseous membrane. And you can see, if I will cut these muscles of the flexor digitorum longus, you can see the continuity of the posterior tibialis posterior. See this strong tendon of this posterior tibialis. So this is the deepest muscle, okay, and this was covered by the flexor digitorum longus. So this completes the muscles, nerves and vessels of the posterior compartment. Thank you very much for watching this video.